Hi, today I'm going to be showing off the Spec TKL, a 10 keyless keyboard that was inspired by the VTuber Roboco from Hololive. I first found out about this keyboard when I joined Snowmo's Discord server. At the time, I was looking at upcoming group buys and stumbled upon the Yeti, an Alice-style keyboard that was set to go on sale on KBD Fans. While looking for more information on the server, I came across messages where Snowmo was trying to get people to join a private group buy for this keyboard. Apparently, a customer had commissioned him to design this keyboard but ran out of funds to buy it. As a result, Snowmo was left with a completed design but no one to actually pay for the cost to make the keyboard. I happened to join at the right time when the server size was still pretty small, so I managed to snag a spot. I tried to convince a couple friends to see if they would get the keyboard with me, but because of the price, I got no takers. Luckily, we did find enough people to join the group buy, and all that was left on my end was to wait for the board to arrive. After some delays with customs, the board arrived on September 7th, but I didn't build it until September 11th because I had some other stuff I had to do. As you can see, there isn't any special packaging for this board because it's essentially a prototype for a design that Snowmo was trying out. It doesn't really matter too much to me because Snowmo made sure to really protect the board and used really thick foam to wrap the whole thing. Along with the case, I got 3 PCBs and an FR4 plate. Each kit comes with 1 PCB, but I decided to get a spare just in case my PCB breaks. The third PCB is actually a non-functioning one that Snowmo offered as a freebie to whoever wanted one, which I took because I'm cheap and I love free stuff. There were 2 color options available for this board, one with the gray top and red bottom, and one with red top and gray bottom. The gray top version was actually the original design, but Bachu messed up on one of the renders and accidentally swapped the colors, but maybe he's actually a genius because the version looked way better to me. So when Snowmo was asking for our color choice, that was the option I went with. Most of the branding for this keyboard is really subtle and are in places you normally can't or won't see, so I felt like going with the red top would be better because it's the main color I associate with Roboco. I actually thought that this color would be more popular, but I am one of 2 people who decided to go with the red top version. Before building any keyboard, you should always test your PCBs first to make sure that they are in working order, and unfortunately, this is where I ran into a bit of trouble. The first PCB that I tested worked perfectly, but the second PCB had an issue where a column of keys were not working. I did a bit of troubleshooting with Snowmo and found that some traces on the PCB appeared to be damaged, which is probably the cause for this issue. He did offer a full refund for the PCB, but I didn't want to give him too much trouble, so I asked that he boost my chances for a keyboard raffle that he was going to run in the future. I originally said it as a joke, but Snowmo took it seriously and agreed to my offer. For this build, I went with Gateron ink black switches and Durock V2 stabs to match the switches. Unfortunately, most of my keycaps are still delayed, so I went with ePBT Modern JA, which is a black on white set with Japanese sublegends. It's a safe choice because the black on white sets pretty much work with anything, but I do think that a red set would work a lot better. I did join in GMK Higanbana to pair with this keyboard, but that won't be arriving until Q4 of 2022. Other sets that I think would work really well are GMK Hamon, or GMK Classic Red, and maybe GMK Red Samurai, though the colors might be a little bit too dark for my taste, and extras can be pretty expensive. Anyways, without further ado, here's a type test for the Spec TKL. You can hear a bit of hollowness in my board, but it's not too bad for the most part. The sound profile is kinda high, which reminds me of how a lot of Korean boards sound like. Some might prefer a deeper sound profile, and usually I'm the same way, but I quite like how the high spec sounds. There is a bit of flex to the board, but overall the typing experience is stiffer compared to a lot of my other boards. These factors are preference related, and I might be a little biased because I did spend a decent amount of money on this board, but I think that the high spec turned out really great. Regarding the hollowness, it's really not that bad and there's a really easy fix. All I have to do is put a little PE foam and tape into the key. I've heard that some people in the Discord have received offers for their high spec after Andy and Tubes have built the board on stream, but Snowmo has warned us that he'll ban us from all his future group buys if we end up flipping the board, so I highly doubt that anyone will actually sell it. Each keyboard has its number engraved inside of it, so it wouldn't be too hard for him to find out who sold their unit. If you do want to get your hands on something similar, there might be an opportunity to do so. Due to high interest in the high spec, Snowmo has offered to make the high spec a group buy board, though without the Roboco branding. If you are interested in the board itself and don't mind the fact that it won't be VTuber themed, check out the Foundation Gamma, which has its own channel in the Snowmo Discord. A lot of the issues I mentioned will be or have been resolved when the Foundation Gamma is released, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the Discord. Thank you Snowmo for designing such an awesome board. It took way too long to publish this video even though I got this board a long time ago, but I'm glad I finally got around to finishing up this video. I'm the type of person who switches up their keyboard on a regular basis since I own a few, but this has definitely been one of the main boards I use on a day-to-day basis. It's not perfect by any means, and I'm sure that the Foundation Gamma will bring a bunch of improvements to this keyboard, but it's still one of the nicer ones I own and one I plan to keep.